Dudes do stupid ass shit to begin with, but there's so many guys that just stick fucking fireworks in their butt and set them off like with their buddies. It's just a bunch of dudes, pants down on the ground, and then like a firework, and then it starts shooting off, and then they freak out, of course, because it's burning the shit out of their butt. Yeah, this happens a lot. I've seen many, many videos of this.
I gotta try this. I gotta say, I see the appeal.
You never find girls doing that.
No,
like,
no,
I don't. No, I don't think so.
So back to this evolutionary biology where the teenagers leave the nest.
Yeah.
Can you explain this evolutionary biology?
Why boys are like, let's see what happens if I stick this in my butt. Like,
well, I actually have some insight about risk taking by boys,
Right.
and it's the same reason that cardinals are bright red, and part of it is to show the female that you can risk being red in this world of predators. You know that you're big enough and tough enough to take it.
I hadn't thought about that. That's interesting.
And so the males of humans are far more likely to stick fireworks in their asses. Are we talking Roman candle? Because that could be something to behold. Because then you'd be shooting the pew, pew,
Right.
pew out your ass.
That would be a less
need to
risky
see
one
this.
than the ones I've seen. They'll be like on a little stick, and it's like a bunch of sparks come out the bottom, and then it's supposed to shoot.
That's a bottle rocket. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And I'm like, what do? You
That's
see all those sparks?
Yeah, guys, Roman candles. I bet if we search hard enough, we could find fireworks in women's vaginas. Some woman's willing to do that for pay.
I'm sure. Yeah.
There's a lot of talk about fireworks in the bedroom.
But I don't think they mean like.
Wow, how awesome would that be, though?
We're like, oh my god! And then you're like, I want to get close to that. Fireballs that are flying out.
You're supposed to imagine fireworks and the real
Right.
thing. I saw a license plate yesterday. Dolly Parton has this Books for Kids program that she's sponsored with the state of Ohio, and this was a license plate for that. Visualize the driver of the car that has the Dolly Parton license plate.
Dude, jacked.
Yeah.
Wife beater, big chain thing. I would think like a
Bra hat, hayseed.
right, or like a come on, have some biscuits, y'all, kind of girl.
Right. You were closer the first time. Indian cat, 25 years old, 20s. I'm like, not that there's no like Indian Americans or like the kids of Indian immigrants that have come over and learned to like country music or.
Yeah, but Dolly's like all the way in.
I don't remember anything about the car, but I remember the license plate. I remember the Indian cat driving it.
Yeah, like the only person I'd expect less to be into Dolly would be
Asian.
like a Japanese middle-aged guy.
Middle-aged Japanese. He's like, islands in the stream. That is what you are. No one in between.
9 to 5. What a way to make a living.
Starting at the bed and you tumble to the kitchen. Pour yourself a cup of ambition.
God. Exactly. But I would like it. I would like that.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't like that. Well, I think there's a lot of really, really bad karaoke in Japan of American songs, and I wouldn't surprise me at all for some of it to be Dolly, John Denver, you know, like West Virginia, Mountain Mama. You could see that being sung in a Japanese karaoke.
I guess it's a thing to be fucking amazing at whatever song. And so it'll be like a dude who's like you singing Celine Dion.
Yeah.
But like pitch perfect, indistinguishable.
As a dude.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sure that the girls do it too.
But the dudes are up there going like,
right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Is that a Celine?
That's Whitney.
Damn it.
But good try.
Wait, I know. Celine's song is something like that.
My Heart Will Go On from Titanic.
Yes. It's so close to that song. Ever you are.
I was just listening to some oldies, and dudes used to do a lot of high-pitched singing back in the day. Like,
Sure.
that was very much a thing, the falsetto stuff.
Yeah. Falsetto's a real discipline.
Yeah. I saw one video of this really talented boys choir. They're singing along, and then they like focus in on this one kid who like grabs a balloon every now and then and like sings
helium.
In helium. Yeah. I feel like you've got to have a lot of confidence in where your voice goes exactly. Like apparently the other like gases that are in that vertical of the periodic
The
table.
noble gases are you referring to?
That's right.
You should salute when you say that.
I should curtsy.
Right.
Like,
take your hat
right,
off.
Apparently the ones that are heavier will bring your voice down similarly to like
nice.
the way the helium raises it up. I guess is helium right above oxygen? I'm not sure.
No.
Is oxygen a noble gas?
No.
Nitrogen is. No.
No. Helium for sure. That's the first one. Things
right.
like argon.
Yeah.
Neon, maybe?
Neon. Yeah, you're right.
Oxygen's like the opposite of noble, because that shit sets
Right.
everything on fire. That's what fire is.
That's right.
It's oxidization. Thank God it's not a noble gas. We would have no fire. Like, we probably wouldn't have life if we didn't have something that was combustible like that. When you go to bed tonight, say your prayers for oxygen. Thank God.
And for helium.
Well, helium. We need a Save the Helium
I know.
campaign here.
Yeah.
We need T-shirts and bumper stickers.
Man, I see those tanks for sale all the time. Like, you can buy a little tank. One was at Goodwill, and I was like, motherfuckers. I almost bought it because
this is
I'm
a one-shot trip.
helium.
Yeah. We could make a bunker filled with helium.
We should.
To save the helium.
They're going to come to us after a while.
Could be worth a lot of money someday. That could be worth more than my fucking uranium investment. I'll tell you that.
So the noble gases are helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon,
Yeah.
radon,
Yeah.
and oganesson.
Yeah, it's got to end in on. Well, there you go. I named 3. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't remember like which one drops their voice like super. Like it's related to the like weight of them. That's why your voice goes up.
You listed them in order of
so,
weight.
too.
Well, I wonder which one's the middle. Like you huff argon and you're like, no change.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
We've got a tank of argon in this house. Did you know that?
I do know that.
Yeah. We bought more argon than I ever.
Definitely tried.
We should.
It's like not a great idea. So people do like die from helium, like
from helium inhalation.
Right, because it's a noble gas. It doesn't make your body freak out or anything. Your body's like, cool. I'll just
die. I'll just die because you don't have oxygen. Well, this is where dudes are more biologically wound to huff a lot more helium, like really show off.
Totally.
You remember last episode, the antimatter we talked about?
Yeah.
For sure they had created anti-hydrogen, but I thought you said
anti-helium.
They had created anti-helium.
I believe so.
I had all kinds of follow-up questions from that, Kalyn, because I don't get it at all. How do we know we actually made this antimatter? Like, how do we know it's there? And then we had to catch it in this trap. So how did we?
Right, really crazy trap. That's like a vacuum and no matter plus magnets and stuff. Like I don't. Yeah, I don't completely get. I don't know why we like. I mean, I can understand why they theorized that this.
Yeah,
I guess because they're just dudes that are super smart, sit around thinking about like.
Yeah, the stuff. Important things.
Yeah,
yeah. They're not like that worried about tariffs. They're just like,
no.
Yeah, tariffs, schmeros. Listen. I made anti-protons, bitch.
Right. Right. Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking about who the smartest scientist he knows of is. And he said Isaac Newton, without doubt. Right. He like created calculus and like came up with all these huge theories. And like then he turned 25. Like seriously.
And that was the end of his career?
Like, no. Like it's just saying that like he created calculus, shit that like most of us can't make sense of. You know, like
that dude was probably fucking insufferable.
Absolutely.
Just like,
yeah. I don't think it's fun to hang out with, you know, these like savant type people that are just crazy geniuses.
Yeah. They're like, hey, Clyde, should we go hang out with Isaac Newton today?
It's like, oh, dude, again, we just did that like 3 weeks ago.
I know, but he's my half brother.
Yes.
I promised Mom I would check in on Isaac like once a week.
Yeah, but oh God, dude, really? Like,
and
we could go ice fishing though.
And then you go over there and fucking Isaac's like, dropping marbles off the stairs and
yes, I just imagine chalkboards like covered in crazy ass like mathematical stuff.
He's holding a prism. Yeah.
I don't know what else he came up with, but apparently a lot of shit. I mean,
dude, just calculus alone is enough to. And he invented calculus to solve these other problems.
He just needed to figure out how to like get from A to B. And
I know another famous one, gravity. He came up with that.
Right.
Here's the thing: I can hardly believe that people in the Roman era like had cloth, like had clothes. Like, how do you make this cloth? How do you do this? They're making it on looms and stuff.
Yeah. And
then you see it; it doesn't look like. If I made something on a loom, it would look like a freaking summer camp. You know,
right? One of those little woven like, it's like here I made you a hot pad,
right?
Like
exactly.
Very narrow in the middle.
Exactly. These guys have togas and like fancy, red and purple robes and like wow. So there must have been like whole huge numbers of people. And then silk is another one that next level I don't even understand. You got silk worms spitting out silk, and then we make this into
how we thought to use that. We're like, oh, there's these bugs, and they make this like sticky, strawy stuff that like. I wonder what happens if we like combine it and then wash it and then stretch it and then do all this very elaborate process to get from worms. Yeah. And then to set up a shop so that you could be harvesting all these fucking silkworm or whatever it is. Yeah. I would just watch this thing that was about like this ancient tradition of like how folks in China made cloth from bamboo. Yeah. So like you got to like cut down bamboo, then boil it for like hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, then grind it into a pulp, then run it through a very fine sieve.
Yeah.
Like it's a hugely long process and lots of work. I'm like, man, who came up? I guess you got tons of fucking bamboo. And you're like, well, we got to wear clothes.
Yeah.
We've noticed that like shit goes bad if we're not wearing clothes.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we get cold.
I just saw Christine and I'm like, that bitch needs to wear some clothes.
Like,
you know?
please, geez. Yeah, all the ladies are like, God, these dudes just walking around with their dicks out. Like, somebody has got to create something.
And Christine, she doesn't like keep it under control. You know what I mean? Like...
Man,
which I don't know how we have sharp edges either. That's another one I'm like fascinated by. People could shave back in the 1500s. Like we made metal that sharp.
Yeah, I mean, we made swords and stuff. When did we start making swords?
Yeah, well, way before that. The Egyptian have swords 6,000 years ago, probably. Right?
I mean, I don't know. I guess so.
Figure it out.
Like, when were swords invented?
For sure we had swords before most people knew how to read and write. I mean, yeah, Middle Ages.
They became in the Bronze Age, which was earliest appearing around 3300 BC.
But I feel like it's one thing to have a sword. Like, first of all, a sword's big. If I hit you with a sword, it has to be a certain level of sharp to do damage, but it doesn't have to be, like, razor sharp.
Right.
To cut hair, I don't know. Could I go down to my knife drawer in the kitchen and get a knife sharp enough to cut my hair? I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah?
I think it would be hard when you got closer to the skin to cut this. Like, I could do this with a lot of your knives downstairs. Not your butter knives, no.
Well, back to cloth, I gotta imagine, like, in these eras, whichever era you pick, like, there must be just armies of people, of peasants, I'm sure, like, living on subsistence wages, if that.
Right.
Right, barely subsiding, making cloth all fucking day, every day.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would think that that's...
Whatever the technique was.
Right.
A bamboo boiling or whatever the hell.
Wool makes a lot more sense. I don't know.
Yeah, wool.
I mean, I'm not sure why you would think this animal versus these other animals. I'm going to shave off their hair and see if I can use it. You know,
they probably tried it all.
We did wear animal pelts.
For sure. That was like, definitely the start of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're like, man, I don't really want to wear this leather part.
Yeah.
Just this furry part. Like the...
Well, probably like, you know, when we kill a lamb and we wrap that around our shoulders, it's like way warmer than horses.
Well, and I think that you have to shear lambs fairly regularly or they'll get overgrown and it'll just continue to produce more. Like it doesn't,
like Christine.
It doesn't get rid of.
You're picking up what I'm putting down, like Christine.
Yeah.
We need to figure some shit out with some bamboo cloth making or something around here.
Yeah, your fucking sheep are looking really furry, and you are looking like you need to put something on.
Yeah.
I guess it wouldn't be that hard because I mean, I don't have any idea.
They were all probably pretty hot back then because they're all skinny, right?
So, yeah, if you look at people... So I just saw a thing that actually... I'm like, man, I'm always like, I just saw this, I just saw that.
Well, that's kind of what the backbone of this show is we just saw this and we just heard that and we're going to talk about it. That's kind of what we do here at Robert and Kalyn Get Rich.
So the folks in the Saharan Africa, right, nomadic peoples or whatever, they tend to wear wool.
Okay.
Like almost all of their clothing is wool. Wow. This thing I was listening to was talking about like how to deal with problems of getting too hot and like how you deal with that clothing wise, right? And like in the desert, it makes more sense to be like covered up like with a very large voluminous thing because apparently the wool is good at keeping the heat out and enough circulation going so that your body doesn't get too hot. But if you think about what you see in Lawrence of Arabia or something, those guys are in fully
poofy white things.
And they need to be fully covered also because of the sun. They can get sunburns.
I bet it's not all that great even in your poofy white thing. Like it's still
I bet
probably
you're fucking uncomfortable as shit. Yeah.
Like, and it's like
well, yeah, you're a nomadic fucking sheep herder in the Sahara. I don't think
doesn't anybody ever think like maybe we should get the fuck out of here?
Like let's go someplace where there's fucking grass or a tree.
Why are we hanging out in the goddamn?
Like I'm so fucking poor.
There's a lot of guys. We can raise sheep anywhere. Yeah. Why are we doing it on the fucking Sahara?
And also, pick a direction and you're fine. You can go south, still not great, sir, but like go east, west, whatever. You're gonna get to someplace.
North, we got the Mediterranean, and
right. It starts to get nicer, and then you can, if you keep going over to Morocco, you can get up in Spain.
I guess the people. When you go south, they're like, we would go south, but those people, Jesus.
Well, I I mean, maybe part of it's that like you stay where you know, and like in the desert it gets really risky. In the Sahara, if you're just like, I'm heading out that way, fingers crossed, like I run into water at some point.
Yeah.
Or me and all my animals are gonna die. I don't know.
I think you're very right.
But somebody braved it. I think, right?
Probably out of desperation.
Yeah, if that was a person like me who's like, it is hard as shit. Yeah. Fuck this. I'll die.
I've been telling you for 25 years.
I cannot put another fucking wool fucking sheet over my body and walk around with these goddamn sheep like blah, blah,
everywhere I go, night and day.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I know, I'm fucking thirsty too. Shit. Looking for the oasis.
Why do you think I'm nomadic? Yeah. I'm looking for fucking water.
Right. Why would you ever leave an oasis if you are,
It's tapped out. We drank all we could.
Man.
We tried that water and it's still hot. That water's hot. Then we went over that water.
I don't even know if you can.
Also water.
You're just like, I just want any water. I'm just looking to not have just sand,
Yeah.
I don't know.
These were tough times. I think there's a lot of bodies they've dug out of like the bogs in Scotland that, starved to death because of drought or whatever.
I guess there are still some nomadic people in like the Sahara or whatever, like that exists still, I guess. I don't know.
We got to get them some brochures or something.
Right.
Man.
Like, let me introduce you
Look at this place.
Yeah.
Look at all this water.
Yeah. Look at this.
And it's cool. And it's called San Diego. I mean, freaking Cleveland would be heaven compared to... They're like, water? All the time? Everywhere? Yeah. You
right.
Imagine.
And you guys have toilet? Imagine not having water. I can't...
When you wake up in the morning not knowing if you're going to have a drink of water that day, you don't, you die.
How often are you cleaning yourself? How are you able to really clean yourself?
Yeah.
On many levels.
It's not good. I'm going to tell you that.
Yeah.
It is not.
I'm thinking it's a rough
Wait,
setup.
many levels? What do you mean? What are the levels? Describe the levels.
So I'm thinking, there's like this level.
Like fade.
Lower level. Yeah.
Like, wash your hand. Then,
like,
the stinky bars.
Then we have the fireworks I set off in my ass, that I got to wipe off.
Okay. Now we got nomadic guys in the Sahara. Shooting fireworks out of their anuses.
Fuck it. I gotta do something to distract my ass from being so damn thirsty.
I'm so thirsty. I got all these fucking sheep bleating all the time. I'm gonna shoot.
Like, boo, boo.
It's party time on the Sahara. What's up? You know what, Kalyn? We are not going to top that. We cannot top that. It is time to kick off the episode. Let's cue the music. You are listening to Robert and Kalyn of Arabia. No, the Sahara. Robert and Kalyn shoot fireworks out of our asses. We get a lot of views for that, I bet.
Yeah.
We should try that.
I can give you some links for some very interesting videos.
This is episode 53. Today is May the 10th, another Saturday episode. This is becoming a bit of a habit, Yeah. Like, maybe that's how people ended up on the Sahara. It was just like a habit. They visited every Saturday and then...
They're it's kind of nice. I like that I'm warm.
It's quiet. There's not a lot of people by.
Except for the sheep, which they're nice.
My neighbors back in freaking Morocco are like, ja, 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 ja. And out here, I can just hang out and look for oases.
I guess there's not that many predators out there. What animals hanging out there by themselves?
Great question. Scorpions? I don't know.
Scorpions, that's true. Yeah. Look out.
Anyway, listen, if you like what we do here, please like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Forward us to all the nomadic Saharan people or anyone who makes cloth or shear sheep. Or
any other person.
Honestly, your friends and your family would love to hear from this. And send us an email, robertandkalyngetrich@gmail.com. But the one thing you should not do, no matter what environ you are on, is
take anything that we say as financial or investment advice, because it's not.
Yeah, so right. Exactly right. Let's see. So there's a little bit of a stink right now. Pope Francis has been a bit of a through line. Well, Pope Francis got buried in a very simple tomb, but his tombstone that I think is just a plate that, I don't know, covers his body or whatever.
Right.
Like, people are picking on it because the spacing of the letters is off. So can you see this picture?
Franciscus.
Yeah, it's Franciscus, which is his name in Latin, but the spacing between the R and the A and the N,
it doesn't look professional for sure.
No. Yeah.
Why is it that we make U's look like V's with like marble and shit? It's not like we don't know how to make curved letters.
Well, you want the real reason or the funny reason? The real reason is the Romans didn't have the letter U. They used V and U interchangeably. So we just carried that over. Mm-hmm. Aren't you glad you asked?
That's weird. It's weird that we call it W for W and not double V.
Well, I always thought it was W. And so when people are like actually pronounce W,
yeah,
I moved to Boston and it's WBUR radio, and I'm like, W. W. It's like a nonsensical word to me almost. Yeah.
It is one of the few letters apparently that starts with a different letter when you say it. Like T, S, R. All start with the letter when you say them. R. I mean, I guess you would put AR, but whatever.
Yeah, right. The vowel potentially in there, but still.
But still. W.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Nope.
Now my brain's going through all the letters, of course. Now look what you've done. Apparently all these typography guys are giving whoever made this
a lot of grief. I think that's fair.
But evidently, it's almost impossible to like mathematically appropriately space letters. Because
what?
Well, for instance, a T. If you have a word with the letter T and then the letter A, right? Mm-hmm. The A should be kind of tucked under the top of the T, right? But then you put an A next to an R, and the R's got the, and so it's got to be in a different position. So generally speaking, it takes a human eye to do a better job than like a computer.
And like your word would do if you do.
Yeah.
What is it called?
Right.
Center justified, I guess.
Yes. The study of kerning is the study of space between letters or characters. So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Man. I guess I don't think about it that much.
You don't think about kerning all that much?
Well, like, there was a documentary that came out called Helvetica or whatever.
Yeah, I want to see that, actually.
I mean, I'm not like, Comic Sans. Like...
Wingdings.
Yeah. Wingdings. So it's like, just like an angel and then a music note and then a bunch of dots. And,
can't you say that says Pope Francis died here?
Yeah, I was like, hello, Robert. Like, don't you know your name in Wingdings? I use Wingdings 3.
This is too much.
Yeah.
Stop it, people.
Who's sitting around making
making more wingdings?
Yeah.
They need a documentary about wingdings.
Yeah.
Let's put in a request.
Yes. Who do we request documentaries from?
The same cat who produced the one about Helvetica. Let's write him a letter and say, listen, we really liked your Helvetica documentary.
Yeah, hopefully.
Now we'd, I don't care if we like it or not. We probably won't even watch it.
Yeah.
But then we'll be like, could you please
cover Wingdings next?
Yes.
In your list of what fonts you want to cover.
My favorite font.
Wingdings.
And also any font that when you put it into Word then just turns into squares.
Right.
That's another one.
I love those too. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a whole different level than like saying I'm going to design a font. I know there are 20,000 fonts out there. I'm not happy with any of them. It's one of these things where I'm very happy somebody's out there thinking about this and doing it. I'm also very happy I'm not the guy who has to do it. Therein ends this conversation. But I was thinking about the new Pope Leo the 14th, right? Not a fan of that
name.
Right.
I mean, first of all, definitely was rooting for Pizza Balla, but whatever.
We got an American. What do you want?
His name's not Pizza Balla.
Okay.
Which apparently means pizza dance.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Nah.
Which makes it even better.
And pizza's pie, so it's a pie dance.
I guess so. I mean, how can you root against that?
How can you conduct a pizza dance? Like, what does this involve?
Like, you listen to That's Amore and toss pizzas.
Back in the day these names were formed, they were listening to That's Amore.
Yeah, it's like somebody at a pizza parlor who's their lounge singer, and they're like, that's Pizza Balla.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I've been on a cakewalk, or what's it? Yeah.
Been on a cakewalk? Like, I always say, like, that's a cakewalk.
Right.
Like, does it turn a phrase?
There's something where you go to, I don't know, carnivals or whatever, and they play music, and you stop on a square, and then they pull a number, and whoever has the number wins.
It's like musical chairs, but you get
Kinda. It's along the lines, yeah. I think that might be a cakewalk.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I could see a pizza dance being...
Yeah.
But I was like, you want to be the 14th of something?
Right.
Like,
lame. Be Peter. You're not going to go with Holy Spirit, which I think is totally a missed opportunity. But I don't see why you're not going back. Is it too pompous? Like, oh, the Pope I admire the most was Peter.
There's many names that you could be and be the first of them. Right. Francis was Francis the First.
Right. Amazing, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like Franciscan stuff seems Catholic-y.
Francis picked his, was he went and prayed on it, and the Saint Francis is what appeared to him. So
yeah, there's a lot of saints also.
Yes,
like there's patron saints of like fucking everything.
Yes,
like
lots of them.
I mean, all kinds of random ass shit. Like patron saint of like pedicures or like some, maybe not.
I need that saint. You got his candle?
We'll find out which one it is.
Look, this is a really old religion, you know, and just all this stuff is piled one upon the other. At one point, there weren't all that many saints.
If you're a martyr, then you do automatically become a saint?
Probably not. No.
No,
because imagine you're like the donkey raper who then gets martyred.
Martyred?
Yeah,
you're like, I've been raping donkeys, but I will die on this sword for the children to live.
For Jesus.
Yeah, whatever. Like, I'm trying to spread Christianity, one donkey owner at a time.
I mean,
and then they persecute me, and
listen,
but I'll die for this.
There's some donkey rapists out there that love some Jesus.
There's something for everyone, I suppose.
There's something for everyone.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, there's enough saints that like every day you could have a saint feast day.
Oh,
you know?
totally. Yeah. And also, there's a holiday every day also. Like official holidays for fucking everything. Last week, we'd say it was the Star Wars Day, you know, May the 4th be with you.
Right. Well, that's like a pun, but
well, right. But it's still like.
Yeah. You can create a lot of distraction in your office with National Quiche Day. And
I mean, even if people are like, oh, it's Arbor Day. I'm like, get out of here. Get the fuck out. You're not allowed to talk to me about Arbor Day. Or any of the other nothing holiday.
Listen, there's only 6 holidays.
Right. I'm at work. Go away.
When Biden added Juneteenth, right?
Yeah.
I, as a business owner, immediately I channeled my inner Ebenezer Scrooge. I'm like... This is just an excuse to give people a day off work.
Do people like generally get a Juneteenth off now?
If you're a federal employee, it's part of their efficiency program.
Right,
to have fewer days working so they get things done faster.
But they get paid for their holidays, right?
I would think so, right? And so if it's a federal holiday, then some banks are going to honor it, and then local governments and stuff like that. And you're like, I'm trying to get a fucking building permit and a loan, and now we're closed on Juneteenth, which commemorates what?
Yeah,
like
the freeing of the slaves, I think.
No, the Battle of New Orleans or something. I mean, yeah, there's slaves involved somehow.
Commemorate the end of slavery.
God damn it. Well, who the heck would care about that?
Why are we closing down work for that?
I mean, we've got Veterans Day.
Yeah.
Labor Day.
Why are we doing daylight savings? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, nobody knows. Nobody likes it. I'll tell you, if there's one cat that could get rid of daylight savings time.
Well, right. Or like move it up 5 hours or something like that. Like, fuck it.
So we got the man for the job. If you want daylight savings time to go away,
right.
Same as Fannie Mae, he hasn't pulled the trigger on that yet. So
we could check on the portfolio.
All right. Let's start with the whole portfolio, like all portfolios.
Yeah.
Look, you cannot even compete. You can't.
Yeah.
You cannot touch the get rich portfolio.
Hell no, you can't.
Like people should be paying us to be managing their portfolio.
We should be providing financial advice.
Yes,
we don't.
We don't.
We could.
No.
Man, the S&P almost exactly flat.
Yeah, and they're lucky to be that high.
Yeah.
You know, the guests are a little bit above that, and everything else is just red.
Yeah.
Red. And we are at 7.233%.
Which is pretty sweet.
Yeah. It'd be nice if Trump hadn't come along and wiped out all our gains and we were still in the teens. Fannie Mae? Fannie Mae is a huge part of it.
Yeah.
350% up.
That's awesome.
It might be time to start shedding a little Fannie Mae. Other strong performers, How Met.
Yeah.
And Chewy. Look at that. Almost doubled.
Wow.
Reddit, strong.
Reddit's doing great too, yeah.
There's a couple that have done fine.
Like Chicken Soup for the Soul. Just kidding.
That one, not so fine. That feels like ancient history, doesn't it? Chicken Soup for the Soul.
It sure does. Yeah.
Now, the guests, mixed bag, but they've made some great picks lately. Disney.
Yeah. And Kroger.
We sure as shit should have invested in Andor.
Yeah.
My God.
And Kroger's doing...
Kroger is solid. I don't know if something's going on with that acquisition or what. Pulte Homes, still not good. Starbucks, since they invested, not good.
Andrea's picks.
Andrea's picks have just been awful. Justin's picks have seen quite the rebound, I think, but still largely in trouble.
I think we should not check on the Justin Tariff portfolio again until something happens with it. At least not diving into it.
You don't just like taunting
Justin, you're stupid.
Just kidding, Justin. We love you. I'm sure you've heard this. And I've been keen to get your input on this. Trump put 100% tariffs on movies made outside the U.S., declaring foreign film production a national security threat.
So is he talking about, like, if we're going to film Pirates of the Caribbean in the Bahamas, is that the tariff we're talking about? Or we're talking about, like, foreign films being put into movie theaters in the U.S.?
The first thing that happened is Hollywood was like, what are we talking about? Because to your point, okay, so we film it in
Mexico
or St. Lucia or Afghanistan or wherever the hell.
Right.
But that's like us. We record for 2 hours and then we edit for 10 hours.
Right. And it's hardly a security threat.
Well, that's the part that I wanted you to help make the case of why this is a security threat.
If it thinks that they're infiltrating our minds with these foreign ideas that we're screening around the United States, and we're like, man, all of a sudden I'm into Kazakhstan, their plight.
Trump said all movies coming into our country that are produced in foreign lands, this is a concerted effort by other nations and therefore a national security threat. Because there are a lot of other countries like UK, Ireland, they have done a lot of tax breaks and stuff to get films to be filmed over there.
Right.
If you can call this a security threat, you can call anything a security threat.
And I still don't get it. Like, here's a film, it's from China with a Chinese cast, Chinese director, Chinese script, blah, blah, blah.
Produced in China.
Right, Chinese film.
Yeah.
Like,
that film's like,
like, oh, so courteous. But yeah, I don't see a bunch of those films being a security threat that we're going to be like, oh no, anti-American propaganda is getting into our heads. But they talk that way about TikTok and China, like China controlling TikTok, making it so that we're all getting stupider and blah, 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 whatever, versus like TikTok.
I think they have like real concrete examples of that, actually. But did you know these restrictions on media companies had been around for a long time? The broadcast networks were not allowed to be majority foreign held because they were that critical to communications to U.S. citizens. So it's not so far afield if TikTok is one of the main communication platforms today to say it can't be foreign owned by our number one adversary at this time.
Yeah. From what I've heard, it's sort of conspiracy theory-ish sounding, but apparently it basically finds your dumbest interest and it just promotes that, versus in China, it's like promoting like learning and connectedness and like building a better world together or something.
Algebra.
Right.
Teaching
like,
the kids algebra
it's
there.
Like,
and
it's like, oh, you like that video about dancing? You know what else we could do? Count numbers so that we can get better at math.
Yeah.
Like,
and here they're like, oh, you like people banging their heads on fences?
Exactly, right.
That's so good. I like that. A national security threat that Chinese and TikTok are making us dumber. That's like, 100% believable.
Apparently, there's been like all kinds of problems in like Newark with all the radar went down, full stop.
Yeah,
in Newark
for like a period. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, you guys need to have it together. How does even radar go down? That's just a spinny thing, right? That like, I don't know. Yeah,
it should be like perpetual motion.
Yeah, just get somebody up there pushing that shit.
Yeah,
like,
dude running around.
Yeah, or like.
That's how they did radar back in the Stone Age. They had a dude like. Speaking of stuff from before.
Speaking of things.
It just was like nonstop this week with all the amazing headlines. Here's another one. Trump says he wants Alcatraz restored as a prison. Yeah. It would be extraordinarily expensive.
Why is that hard to escape from there, though? I get that it's kind of a long way on the water for you to swim, but it's not like that far.
Yeah. Plenty of people have swum the English Channel or whatever, which is way more than that.
Right. And, so, like.
Because you're tired. I don't know. You've been lifting weights all day. You had to dig out from a hole. Like, you're tired from digging and.
Yeah, but you're not doing all the digging that day, are you?
Well.
I mean, I can't imagine so.
No, the guys who escaped, no, they didn't do all the digging in one shot. No.
The guys who can escape from prison nowadays, I'm like, man. That's pretty fucking
next
impressive.
level.
Yeah.
I know, it's like fun to watch. You're like rooting for the guy.
I know. Like, dang. Paying attention to like the schedule of things and when like this guard turns that way or whatever.
It's like a hay truck drives by and you jump in the hay.
Yeah, right.
I saw that movie. I think Leo was in it. Leo DiCaprio, not Leo the 14th.
Oh, yeah.
He'd be good in that.
He would be good.
Leo the 14th escapes from Alcatraz. Coming to you, made in America.
Yeah.
This,
like,
all this. You think he's just praying. You think he's just praying in a corner.
But really, he's like watching to make his move. Yeah.
So the thing with the Alcatraz was, and the movie sanctions was, there are commentators like literally speculating that Trump watched a movie about Alcatraz, and that's what made him think that we should tariff movies and we should reopen Alcatraz, and it's 100% believable.
Absolutely. Like, I don't know why anyone would think that we should reopen Alcatraz. Like, first of all, like, I don't know that San Francisco is like down for that, because like it's a pretty big site that people go to visit and stuff, and it's like preserved. It's kind of, you know.
Why would you want to shut down this national park and open this prison when you can? We can open a prison in like the Sahara.
We can make an island.
Death Valley,
like, we'll make another island over there and like fucking build one, or Guam,
Guam. I'm telling you,
whatever the fuck.
You can make the prison on the mainland, and you can make it plenty secure. Believe it or not, life is not like Con Air, where people can just hijack a plane and escape. You know.
Yeah.
You know how many people have escaped Supermax prisons?
No.
0. Yeah, you're right. I don't know if no meant you don't know or meant none.
No.
But no, 0.
Really?
None have.
Yeah.
Yes, you cannot escape these places.
Yeah, they make them pretty tough.
Yeah. So
obviously
they don't have to be on a freaking island, and you don't have to shut down a national monument or whatever the hell, and like one of the biggest tourist attractions in San Francisco.
Why on earth would you? It's just like that's a crazy idea.
You got to refurbish it.
Like,
yes.
Yeah. Totally refurbish it and lose like all the like historical value of like Al Capone was in there or whatever. And I mean, I don't think it's that practical to like get people back and your guards and stuff back and forth. Like you'd have to keep the ferry going that used to carry a bazillion tourists in and out every day.
Now we're carrying food for the commissary and guards.
Right.
And it's just easier for the guard to just drive their truck to a parking lot.
I would think so.
Out in the country.
Yeah. I mean, who wants to get marooned on an island if you're a guard at a prison and there's like a revolt?
I didn't think of that angle. Yeah.
I mean,
you're stuck.
Yeah.
You got to swim back to San Francisco. And then they're swimming after you.
Right, which is why the guards have guns and stuff.
Yeah. And but they can only, anytime that you're way outnumbered, you can only take down so many. Which is why there should have been slave revolts,
Right.
And it wasn't until Juneteenth and Andrew Jackson freed all those slaves. Andrew Jackson freeing the slaves. That doesn't sound right.
Lincoln did that, didn't he?
What the hell?
Lincoln was the one who had the Civil War.
He's famous for freeing the slaves. Yeah, Lincoln.
I don't know what Jackson did.
Emancipation of enslaved African Americans in Texas on June 19th, 1865. So that'd be the end of the Civil War. When did the Civil War end? April 9th, 1865. So it took 2 months.
Spread the word.
So we commemorate that one, the late one.
Yeah.
Which is fitting. You ever heard of Colored People Time?
Robert. Apparently, like, everybody has this, though, because January is, like, Asian Standard Time. So I'll be 45 minutes late. Yeah, she says that all the time. I'm like, bitch, you just need to show up on time. I'm tired of telling you the wrong time to be places.
And we all know that, like, Hispanics are famously known for not being on time.
Yeah.
So
and women in general are late. Yeah, because we're all getting ready and stuff.
Okay.
Like, we take forever to get...
No, I was thinking about waiting on women. A Jeff Foxworthy, like, I could be ready to go to the moon in 30 minutes. And she's in there for hours doing whatever. But, okay.
So white dudes are the ones who are on time.
Northern European men.
You guys got it. You sorted out the alarm clocks. That's why you guys have all the big jobs. I mean...
It fits. German, Swiss,
Yeah.
Norwegians, these are people we think about being on time. Scandinavians.
Right. Yeah.
Finnish people are on time for that sauna.
Well, sure. Yeah, for the sauna and for their, like, fucking black people.
Maybe that's why they're so racist. Like, I tried not to be racist, but this guy doesn't...
Can you fucking show up on time, Jamal? Jesus. Like, we're always waiting for your ass.
Yeah.
God.
You're the one fucking black guy in Finland where you represent and, like, actually show up.
You have a fucking clock, dude. Seriously.
Set a second alarm, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Were you here for the time... So I had left my electric fiddle at the studio, and I had the concert, and Andrea was bringing in our folks. So I was like, I couldn't find it. I don't know. So she arranged with Kenny, his buddy, was going to meet Andrea and our parents.
Right.
Let them into the studio and then help, and so they could all search. Yeah. So he's like, no problem. I'm on my way home. I'll be there in a little bit. They sit outside the studio for like 45 minutes. And we're like, what happened? The guy had gone home and taken a shower.
Classic.
And it's like, you understand? We were like in a panic for this instrument. And Kenny, my buddy's like, that's, yep. It's like, it makes me shake my head too. I don't know.
Yeah. No, totally. January was like, okay, so I'm going to try to get to this doctor's appointment at 1:00. We're like hanging out. She's like, do you think I have time to swing by Nordstrom before I go? I'm like, dude, you have 15 minutes to get there as is. Like, no, you don't have time to go to Nordstrom. Like, what? No. She's like, this is probably why I'm late. I'm like, yes. You don't understand how time works.
We had two friends that we were meeting out for golf, and they accidentally went to the wrong golf course. And then
is this Catherine?
No. Well, yeah, it does sound like a sort of. She's one of the friends that, yes, you can count on being late.
Yeah.
You know, and Andre's just like, don't give her a hard time. She's, got a lot going on. I'm like, get your act together. But anyway, evidently they were, driving to the right golf course, and they're like, well, the husband doesn't know us that well. And like, well, are they on time people? And the wife's like, yes, yes. Anyway, on time. Because if you had the right set of friends, it wouldn't actually matter if you had driven to the wrong golf course and we're going to be 37 minutes late or whatever. So I came across this week related to absolutely nothing that we've talked about or anything like this. But do you happen to know Elon Musk's official title at Tesla?
Is he like founder? Is that what? Or no?
That's the sort of thing I'm looking for. Yes.
Like he's gonna be like car wizard or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you're much closer. Here it is. Elon Musk's official title at Tesla is Techno King of Tesla.
Techno King.
And he was also given the title of Master of Coin. She reacts with a
yeah.
Techno King.
Like, yeah, that also reminds me of Molly and like the titles that she wanted to give us when we were like working together at Commune, which looks like commune. And I'm like, so it's an art thing and it's called commune. And like, you're called like the, navigator. And like, I'm like, the what? The navigator.
The arbiter.
She's like, I think that was the lawyer's title, like, or whatever. I'm like, no.
I'm like, wait, is this a business or a board game here?
Can I just be like a director?
Yeah.
Period. Or something, or manager, whatever.
No wonder you felt fully comfortable creating T-shirts that said "Offsite Event 1999" when it wasn't 19. What was it? No, team building
exercise 99.
Yeah, 99 after the flight of the Concorde.
I was like, I don't care that nobody else knows what this fucking reference is at all, and it's got a picture of my dog on the back.
You're talking to the navigator right here,
right?
And I navigate us towards bug pictures and obscure references to Flight of the Concorde.
Yeah. Take it or leave it.
Yeah. You didn't ask somebody else to make the T-shirts.
Yeah.
I also don't have any other real responsibilities here at Commune.
Yeah, right. Like,
which isn't actually a real business. The expenses are 10 times the revenues. Maybe 100.
Well, I mean, revenues. I don't know.
Maybe 1,000, maybe 1 million.
Like, revenues are by returning things from. Anyways, we can't keep.
We return the sweater to Nordstrom's.
Like,
that's 2,000 of revenue.
At one point, she had bought she wanted to have foam batting, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
I shouldn't talk too much about this. Anyway,
right.
But so she went out and bought literally hundreds and hundreds of bags. They more than would fill this room. Probably couple layers of this room filled up. So we were figuring out how to store some of our art stuff. I was like, take this shit back, right now. The girl who was the shopper or whatever.
Right.
She's the acquisition specialist.
Yeah.
Something.
Right.
Anyway, But she was like, are you sure? And I was like, I will totally take the fall if this is not what she wants. Yes, take it back. And it was a credit of $10,000 or something.
At Michael's?
Shit. Yes, some shit like that. And I was like, man.
Michael's has never seen a batting sale like this in history.
Right. They're like, what the fuck are we going to do? She had to make multiple trips in her car.
Yeah. All our systems are built to flow one way. The goods from China or wherever into the hands of consumers. And they're really not built for goods to flow the other way. So an awful lot of the stuff you return, like a lot of apparel, it just goes in the dump,
right.
Or it goes, maybe it goes overseas or something to sell in the Sahara.
Fill up, clothing stuff. It's really bad.
Yeah,
with the fast fashion and stuff, and
right.
How much we're fucking up like all these Bangladesh and stuff. Like it just have mountains of fabric all along their coat. Like you can't do anything with all this fabric.
Yeah. You mentioned Bangladesh in there, and we have people from Bangladesh. I got a guy from Bangladesh and a guy from Pakistan. So I was like, what's the average income in Bangladesh?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I want to know this guy who obviously hustles and works pretty hard for us, I think. I don't know. Well, it turns out the average income is just under $300 a month.
Wow.
In Bangladesh.
Yeah.
And about the same, a little more maybe in Pakistan.
Yeah.
And
right.
And so my $100 I send him a month plus or minus is
right. So when he's like, when you don't want to have him do the work, then it's like, that's like a big.
Well, and I mean, hopefully I'm not his only source of income.
So he's probably doing pretty well
by Pakistan standards or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Man.
But it's also just, I mean, it's, this is the sort of like labor arbitrage that you can really take advantage of. You can get a lot out of high skill work for very inexpensive. And
I just wish you used our like different stills for YouTube, but that's it. That's my only complaint, really. Anyway.
He's busy supposedly studying what shows up on SEO and stuff. I do think that big smiling faces are.
But mine this time was like.
That's how your face is. You don't have. That was the best picture.
Like
yeah. So it was 54 minutes of that, and then 1 minute of, and so you use that. Exactly.
Fair. What can you do? What can you do? Yeah.
One click at a time, one episode at a time. Yeah. I don't know. That feels like as good a place as any to wrap this up, Kalyn.
Let's cue the music.
Yeah, cue the music. You've been listening to the Robert and Kalyn Get Rich podcast. That was episode 53, come and gone. Mark it in your calendars. Make sure that you like and subscribe, forward us to your friends, and send us an email, Robert and Kalyn Get Rich at gmail.com. Tell
everybody.
Yeah. Now, if you get arrested and sent to Alcatraz, those cats.
Tell the world.
Tell the world. Tell all your friends in the Sahara. Bangladesh and Pakistan.
Right.
We want to be worldwide.
Yeah.
Finance comedy superstars.
Right.
Do we have anything else we need to tell the good people, Kalyn?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, with that, bye-bye.
Bye.